For those of you that have been following along, I just wanted to post up another video here. I did add some new features to the handheld control, and it's actually kind of turned into more of a multi-purpose for me. One set of features that I added was just the standard X, Y, and Z zero. So I've already got these programmed, or reprogrammed I guess, and I've disabled the dials. There's a code that you can use to disable the dials. Since these are just going to be for X0, Y0, and Z0, that's why those are disabled. So now if you hit that, that'll hit the X0 and Y0, and then Z0. The other thing I've added is a way to focus in on the DRO. And what that's really nice for is if you wanted to, like what I've done is I've mounted this keypad, and this is just a standard Bluetooth keypad, kind of on the cheap side, but I was trying to see if this would work or not. But anyway, so what I've done is I've also included codes to just focus in on the DRO if you wanted to add that functionality. So that code is 36 right now. So that's X focus for the top one. Y focus is 32. So I'll go and reprogram that. And then Z focus is 28. So this will be Z. So what's cool is that if you're, for instance, using an edge finder, you can still use your -0.1. So if I wanted to do X, now these buttons are controlling that DRO. So if I wanted to, we'll say 0 out X or do a -1, which you're probably familiar with a 200 thousandths edge finder, you can just hit that, and then now that's -1. The other thing you can do is simple math. If you've seen my other videos, you've seen me go over to the keyboard and do the divide by 2 function, which is pretty common when you're finding center of parts, but you can still do all that, and it's all kind of right here, which is nice because there's a lot of times where I'm going back and forth between the control and the part and looking at it. So it's nice to kind of have everything in one central spot. So between the 2 items that I've made, it's really become real nice to set up the parts with the jog controls, and then also being able to zero up at the machine. This is kind of, I guess, my process now, short of using the Heimer. I have it, but it really wasn't, didn't need it just to show this off here. So that's my X0. There's my X divided by 2. There's my Y0. And then there's my Y center here. So yeah, now that's my my 0, my part. Now Z, I would set off my first tool that I'm going to be cutting with. But since I'm not doing that, don't got to worry about it. Thanks. The other features that I've put in is to be able to change the buttons so they will work in pressing the step, the 10th, 1,000ths, 10 thousandths, and 100 thousandths buttons. For, I guess this, what I'm going to use is just probably the 2 or 3 that I use, which is 10th, 1,000ths, and 10 thousandths sometimes. So what I have is for the first code, for the 10th is going to be 24, so I can reprogram that button here right now. And then 1,000ths is going to be 22. And then 10 thousandths is going to be 20. And then now I've got to tell it, I guess, which step mode I want to program it in. I can program it in X, Y, or Z. Since this controls up here on Z, I'd probably have it in the Z axis here. So what I'll do is I'm going to change all these sliders or these dials into program code 64, which is my Z axis select. So there's that one. And then we'll do the last one. So now all these axes will control the Z axis. Now let's try it here. So I have my first button right here, which is a 10,000, or I'm sorry, a tenth. This is 1,000ths, and then this is 10,000ths, and then now this controls, any one of these buttons will control that Z. Now you do have to click on the appropriate step position you want, or step increment. But now you can see, since I'm in 10th, it'll move my Z in my 10th spot. If I wanted 1,000ths, which I'd probably use the most, now I can use it to dial in my indicator. And if I wanted to switch back to a fine tune, I can use that. So if I was setting off 0 or sweeping a hole or something like that, or doing something where I needed to, I guess, have these really handy and be able to access, you can do that. So there's 10,000ths. We'll go ahead and. I don't think I use 10,000ths very often, but thousandths and then tenth is probably the most common ones I use. The other button I forgot to mention was a tool focus. I did show you the X, Y, and Z focus buttons, but you can also go to your tool too. So that's a program, or that's button, or program code 26. So I'll put it on the C button here. And we'll go down to 26. So now what that'll do is select that. So now you can use your keypad to put in whatever value you want for your tool.